Okay, so way up in the Ores Mountains of what is now Algeria, there's this place that, well, it just feels like it shouldn't be there. It's a ghost city, almost perfectly preserved, and it tells this amazing story of Roman ambition, right at the very edge of their empire. We're going to dive into the incredible story of Timgad. I mean, just look at this. It's not just a few ruins. It's an entire Roman city laid out right in front of us. You've got triumphal arches, streets lined with columns, a massive theater, all of it literally rising out of the desert sand. And the craziest part, for more than 1,000 years, this whole magnificent place was totally lost to the world, just a secret kept by the Sahara. So yeah, that immediately brings up a couple of huge questions, right? First, how in the world did a city this grand, basically a mini Rome, end up here in North Africa? And second, what could have possibly happened that made everyone just leave? Why was it completely abandoned to the wind and sand? That's what we're going to get into. All right, so to find those answers, we've got to rewind the clock. We're going way back to the absolute height of the Roman Empire, and to an emperor who had a big vision for how to secure its frontiers. The city got its start around 100 AD, founded by the one and only Emperor Trajan. Now, its full name was, get this, Colonia Marciana Ulpia Traiana Thamagati. But let's just stick with Timgad, huh? Anyway, it was built for two main reasons. First, it was a military stronghold, a bastion to keep an eye on the local Berber tribes up in the mountains. And second, it was meant to be a settlement. You could almost call it a retirement community, really, for veterans of the Roman army. And this is where you can see the real genius of the place. It's a perfect grid. I mean, look at that design. This wasn't just about good city planning. For the Romans, this layout was a statement. It was like they were stamping their ideology of order and control right onto what they saw as a wild frontier. You have these two main streets, the Decumanus Maximus running east-west and the Cardo going north-south, and they formed the city's spine. Everything was neat, rational, and totally Roman. And you know what? It worked. It worked so well that the city absolutely boomed. It was originally designed for maybe 15,000 people, but Timgad became so successful, mostly from agriculture, that it just spilled right over its original super strict walls. New neighborhoods started popping up all around it a little more organically. So it's pretty clear this was no rustic military outpost, right? This was a proper, thriving, cultured city. So let's talk about that. What was life actually like for the folks who called Timgad home? Well, for starters, the people living in Timgad had all the comforts you'd expect from life in Rome itself. Check out this incredible theater. It could seat 3,500 people. It was a total hub for culture, plays, public events, you name it. And what's really amazing is that it's in such good shape, it's still used for performances today. Imagine that, a direct link to the city's vibrant past, 2,000 years later. Oh, and the luxury did not stop at the theater. The city also had 4 huge public bathhouses. It had a grand public library, there was a basilica for all the legal and business stuff, and get this, a massive temple dedicated to Jupiter, built to about the same size as the Pantheon in Rome. This wasn't just about having nice things. It was about constantly being reminded, we are Roman. So let's go back to that library for a second. You see this number, 400,000. Any guesses what that is? That's how much it cost to build the library, in Roman sesterces. And here's the kicker. It wasn't paid for by the government. It was a gift to the city from one single very wealthy citizen, a guy by the name of Julius Quintianus Flavius Rogatianus. Whew. And this wasn't just some tiny reading room. It was a major institution, big enough to hold around 3,000 scrolls. You know, finding a library of this size is a huge deal for historians. Why? Because it just completely shatters that old idea that life on the frontier was rough and uncultured. It's solid proof that a high standard of learning existed here, hundreds of miles from Rome, at what they thought was the very edge of the world. But, of course, no city and no empire can last forever. And for Timgad, the end wasn't some sudden, dramatic event. It was more of a long goodbye, a slow fade that took place over centuries. Things really started to unravel in the 3rd century. The city was hit by a lot of religious conflict, especially a Christian movement called Donatism that caused major divisions across North Africa. Then, in the 5th century, it was sacked by the Vandals. After that, it was damaged again by local Berber tribes.
It did have a brief comeback in 539 AD, when a Byzantine general named Solomon took it back and rebuilt it as a fort. But it didn't last. By the 8th century, after the early Muslim conquests in the area, the city was finally and completely abandoned. And that's when the Sahara started its slow, patient work of burying it. And so, for 1,000 years, Timgad just waited, buried and forgotten. Then, finally, in the 18th century, these strange whispers started to reach Europe about a lost Roman city in the middle of Africa. The quote you see here, "a small town but full of elegant buildings," that comes from a Scottish explorer named James Bruce. He literally stumbled upon the ruins back in 1765. He was probably the first European to lay eyes on the city in centuries, and he was just blown away by what he saw. But when he got back to Great Britain, nobody believed him. His story about this magnificent Roman city in the Algerian mountains, it just sounded too crazy, too fantastical. It actually took over 100 years until 1875 for another explorer to go and confirm that, yep, it's real. And that's what finally kicked off the official excavations in 1881. And what an incredible job they did. This then and now comparison is just stunning, isn't it? On one side, you've got the ruins barely peeking out of the sand during those first digs. And on the other, there's the massive, breathtaking city we can actually go and visit today. It's really a testament to more than 100 years of hard, careful archaeological work. So today, you can actually walk down that main street, the Decumanus Maximus, with all these beautiful Corinthian columns lined up. It must be an absolutely incredible feeling. You can almost hear the echoes of the empire. And it's this very street, this perfect grid, that makes Timgad one of the best preserved examples of Roman city planning anywhere in the world. And that special status was made official in 1982. That's when UNESCO named Timgad a World Heritage Site. It was a formal recognition of just how amazingly well-preserved it is, and how valuable it is for all of us as a window into the Roman world. So, in the end, Timgad is so much more than just a pile of ruins. It's a whole story of ambition, culture, collapse, and then rediscovery. All of it written in stone. And it really leaves you with a fascinating question, doesn't it? If a city this amazing could be completely lost to the sand for 1,000 years, well, what other incredible places are still out there, buried, just waiting to tell us their stories?